Welcome and welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into African stories, facts, comparisons, and development trends. In this video, we are spotlighting two economic giants in sub-Saharan Africa, Kenya and Ghana, as we try to answer the critical question: which of these two countries has the best economy in Africa? Let's take this journey step by step. But before we continue, I'm Teresa, and if you are new here, consider subscribing. Don't forget to turn on post notification because that will notify you whenever I drop new content on this channel. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and share. So, when comparing Kenya and Ghana, we first need to understand the structure of each country's economy. Kenya's economy is diverse with agriculture, services, industry, and ICT playing significant roles. Meanwhile, Ghana has traditionally leaned more on natural resources, especially gold and cocoa, alongside increasing investments in manufacturing and services. This gives us two different economic personalities. Kenya is driven by innovation and services, while Ghana is resource rich with growing diversification. Let's take a look at GDP, the gross domestic product, which is the total value of all goods and services produced in a country. According to the latest 2024 estimate, Kenya's GDP stands around $120 billion, while Ghana's GDP is approximately $80 billion. On paper, Kenya has a larger economy. However, GDP alone doesn't tell the full story. We also have to look at GDP per capita to understand how these economic outputs affect individuals. When we consider GDP per capita, Ghana often performs slightly better than Kenya. In 2024, Ghana's GDP per capita is around $2,500, while Kenya's is about $2,300. This suggests that, on average, Ghanaians may be slightly better off economically than Kenyans. However, income distribution and cost of living can shift that perspective significantly. Speaking of cost of living, both countries have major cities with high living expenses. Nairobi is known for being more expensive than Accra, especially when it comes to housing and transportation. But Ghana has seen rising inflation in recent years, affecting purchasing power. Kenya, on the other hand, has experienced greater currency stability thanks to reforms in the central bank. Let's dive into agriculture, one of the largest employers in both countries. Kenya is famous for its tea, coffee, and flower exports. It has developed large-scale agricultural sectors that serve both domestic and international markets. Ghana, meanwhile, is a leading exporter of cocoa and is working to climb the value chain by producing chocolate locally. While Kenya focuses on agribusiness innovation, Ghana emphasizes adding value to its primary exports. Natural resources play a major role in Ghana's economy. Ghana is Africa's second largest gold producer and also has significant oil and gas reserves. Kenya's oil sector is still in the early stages, and while it does have minerals, it doesn't enjoy the same scale of extractive industries as Ghana. This gives Ghana a stronger mining and energy export base, but it also makes it vulnerable to global commodity price swings. Now let's talk about ICT and technology. Kenya has earned the nickname Silicon Savannah due to its innovative tech ecosystem. The mobile money platform M-Pesa revolutionized financial inclusion and has been replicated globally. Nairobi's vibrant tech hubs have attracted international investors and startups. Ghana, while making progress with digital payments and fintech, is still catching up in this space. Tourism is another important sector. Both Kenya and Ghana attract millions of tourists, but in very different ways. Kenya's wildlife safaris and natural parks are globally recognized, drawing visitors from across the world. Ghana's tourism is deeply rooted in heritage and history, including sites like Cape Coast Castle and the Year of Return campaign that attracted African Americans and the diaspora in large numbers. Both nations leverage unique strengths here. What about manufacturing and industry? Kenya has a more established manufacturing base, producing textiles, food products, cement, and consumer goods for both domestic use and export. Ghana is ramping up its manufacturing under the One District, One Factory initiative, aiming to decentralize industrial development. Both countries are investing heavily in infrastructure to support manufacturing. On infrastructure, Kenya's road, rail, and port development is among the most ambitious in Africa. The standard gauge railway and projects like the Lamu Port are designed to make Kenya a regional logistics hub. Ghana, on the other hand, has made strides in energy infrastructure and urban roads but still lags behind Kenya in large-scale transport projects. Now, let's examine foreign direct investment. Kenya has been attracting consistent FDI, especially in telecom, energy, and finance. The country's strategic location and relatively stable political environment have helped. Ghana also sees strong FDI, particularly in oil, gold, and real estate. However, investor confidence in Ghana sometimes fluctuates due to debt concerns and inflation volatility. Monetary policy is another key area. Kenya has maintained a relatively steady interest rate regime, with its central bank closely monitoring inflation and currency strength. Ghana has faced currency depreciation challenges in recent years, although the Bank of Ghana has taken steps to stabilize the cedi. Inflation control is more robust in Kenya at the moment. In terms of education and human capital, both countries are heavily investing in the future. Kenya has a strong university system with institutions like the University of Nairobi leading in East Africa. Ghana too boasts excellent institutions such as the University of Ghana and Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. However, both countries face graduate unemployment challenges. Now, let's explore the business environment. Kenya ranks higher on the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index, especially in terms of starting a business and accessing credit. Ghana has made reforms too, but bureaucratic delays and land issues can be a hurdle. Kenya's private sector is more vibrant and competitive, driven by tech and banking. Poverty levels and inequality are important markers. Kenya has a higher poverty rate compared to Ghana, though rural poverty is a major issue in both countries. Kenya's urbanization is faster, which helps reduce poverty in cities, but also causes strain on services. Ghana has made gains in poverty reduction, especially in the south, but the north remains underdeveloped. Now, let's talk politics and governance. Both countries are democratic, but Kenya has seen more election related violence in the past. Ghana, often praised for peaceful transitions of power, as one of the most stable democracies in Africa. Political stability strongly influences investor confidence and long term development. Looking at trade partnership, Kenya has strong ties with East African nations, COMESA, and the growing relations with China and the EU. Ghana is a member of ECOWAS and trades heavily within West Africa, while also expanding links with the UK and US. Both are active in the African Continental Free Trade Area, with Accra hosting its secretariat. Let's break down energy production. Ghana has invested in hydro, thermal, and gas, and now includes renewable energy in its mix. Kenya leads in geothermal energy in Africa and is making significant investments in wind and solar. Kenya's green energy push is globally recognized and supports its long-term sustainability goals. When it comes to remittances, Ghana receives more in terms of personal transfers from the diaspora, contributing significantly to the economy. Kenya also benefits from remittances, especially from the US and Europe. Diaspora investments are crucial in both nations for real estate, education, and startups. Now, let's take a look at banking and fintech. Kenya's mobile banking platforms are some of the most advanced in Africa. Banks have embraced digital transformation aggressively. Ghana's banking sector went through a major cleanup in 2017-2018 to improve regulation and restore confidence, and it is more stable and transparent now. Employment trends reveal a growing youth population in both countries. Kenya's unemployment rate is higher, particularly among urban youths. Ghana faces similar issues, though its informal sector remains a major employer. Both governments have launched youth employment schemes with varying levels of success. Women's participation in the economy is another area to consider. Both countries are seeing increased involvement of women in politics, business, and entrepreneurship. Kenya has more women in high level government roles, while Ghana has been working on gender inclusive policies. However, cultural and financial barriers still exist in both nations. Health systems are also vital for economic resilience. Kenya has more structured public health facilities and universal healthcare plans in progress. Ghana's national health insurance scheme has been a model for many African nations. Still, both countries need better rural healthcare delivery and disease prevention strategies. Now, let's touch on innovation and research. Kenya has more registered patents, startups, and innovation hubs. Ghana is building its digital economy but is still growing in global innovation rankings. Both countries are working towards becoming knowledge economies through research, technology parks, and funding for science. Climate resilience is a growing concern. Kenya faces drought and deforestation, while Ghana is affected by illegal mining and coastal erosion. Both countries are part of global climate agreements and have national action plans for sustainability, green energy, and conservation. Let's not forget cultural exports. Ghana has a strong influence in African music, art, and literature, contributing to tourism and soft power. Kenya is a hub for media, literature, and film in East Africa. Both countries are using their cultural identity to boost global presence and economic opportunities. So, after all this analysis, where does that leave us? Economically, Kenya has a larger and more diversified economy with strong growth in technology and infrastructure. Ghana has more natural resources and political stability with efforts in value addition and industrialization. Both countries are giants in their regions and are essential to Africa's economic future. So, in conclusion, it's not about who is better, but about how each country plays to its strengths. Kenya leads in tech, infrastructure, and innovation. Ghana leads in natural resources, political stability, and diaspora engagement. The real winners, Africans, as both nations drive growth, inspire regional partnership, and shape the continent's future. So, if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Which country do you think has a brighter economic future, Kenya or Ghana? Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.